Hey everyone, my name is Tanya Stewart, and I'm going to talk to you tonight about a few things that people misunderstand in regards to dealing with health issues and struggling to lose weight. These are things that most people don't really talk about when it comes to these two agendas. If you get sick, you go to the doctor, you get medication. If you're trying to lose weight, you hope and you pray, hope, cross your fingers that you find the right diet program or the right supplements that will help you to lose weight. Usually the weight loss aspect of things revolves around meal planning, calorie intake versus how much you're burning in exercise and starving yourself. I mean, a lot of times that's what it includes, right? But the truth of the matter is, whether you're talking about the health of your body or losing weight, there is a lot that doesn't get discussed that has to do with your good gut bacteria and what's happening inside of you. Now, one of the big problems is we've become very dependent on medications, and that sets us up for a continuous downfall, a downward spiral. So this is probably going to relate to some of you, where you'll have one thing go wrong with you, you go to the doctor, maybe get on a medication, and all of a sudden you have a spiral down towards another thing that's wrong, go to the doctor, you get out of medication, right? Side of weight loss, you try a diet, things seem like they may or may not be working for a few weeks, but after that, there's nothing. And you're going to the gym, you can't lose weight, and you're just kind of beating your head against the wall. Well, when it comes to the gut health side of things and the medications, here's a little something. These two things tie together, by the way, but here's a little something that's going to probably sound a little bit discouraging, but tonight I'm going to give you some hope. Medications, when you go to the doctor, are trying to set you up to handle whatever disease you have, right? In the best way possible that you can kind of live with it, right? But medications and birth control, by the way, as well as things like Z-Paks, or if you go and get steroids for Lyme's disease, things of that nature, they all kill off good and bad bacteria. So immediately you're going to have your gut microbiome compromised. But killing off that bacteria creates dead matter that feeds something called yeast overgrowth. This is a really, really critical aspect to both of these problems, health issues and weight loss. Yeast overgrowth, in my opinion, is now at an epidemic level. 90% of babies are born or have some sign of it by 6 months old. And it really runs rampant. Why is that? Since the 60s, we have become a very medicine-oriented or dependent society, and we are fast food, processed food, sugar, and carb junkies. The yeast overgrowth, once it becomes triggered, feeds off of sugar, refined sugar, and carbs that turn to sugars. Now, that is really bad news, because that yeast overgrowth actually will attack your good gut bacteria, your GI system, and ultimately many systems within your body. And it can trigger a plethora of problems. Obviously, any GI diseases, it will perforate the lining of the intestinal tract and leak toxins into your bloodstream, which will trigger autoimmune diseases. It impacts things like rosacea, eczema, women's issues of endometriosis, PCOS, and the like. There are a number of different issues. Even things like acid reflux. If you're walking around all day and you struggle to eat, you struggle to go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom too much. All of these is taxing on you. Your energy levels are dropping, and then you grab a snack food and then they spike momentarily, but then they drop again. Odds are you're dealing with a yeast overgrowth, a blood sugar imbalance because of how you're responding to that. You're taking in too much sugar, and inflammation is the last biggie. Inflammation is caused by the things that we eat, like sugar, but it's also caused by yeast overgrowth. Inflammation is one of the top reasons for disease and one of the top reasons for obesity. So as you're walking around and you're following a certain diet plan, or you're taking your medications to keep at bay some of the symptoms from your diseases, you're actually still potentially feeding inflammation, feeding yeast overgrowth without even realizing it, okay? Plexus, when we got into the supplemental game here, we looked at this and said, there's a ton of weight loss products out there. There's a ton of vitamin pills out there, and that's great. And people are getting good benefits, but there is no major shift in natural weight loss, sustainable weight loss, and no major shift in the improvement of symptoms that are an outcome of disease, right? How can we make this major shift so that people can actually live their lives fully again? They can energy, they can reduce those medications, get off of those medications, balance blood sugars, things of that nature, which of course, with balanced blood sugars, you're going to see that impact people who are diabetics, right? You're going to see that insulin level have to be able to come down. And so what they discovered is they honed in on the things that I'm just talking about: inflammation, leveling blood sugars, and getting rid of yeast overgrowth. And they did that with 3 products called the Triplex. The first one is Slim. Now, we actually have 2 different kinds of these Slims. The one I'm holding up is a lot of people's favorites to start with because it's called Slim Hunger Control. Now, both of our Slims do the following. Both of our Slims reduce inflammation with beetroot extract. They both regulate glucose to your cells, and that means you're going to have all day sustained energy naturally, because that's what glucose does for your cells. It also is going to trigger your blood sugars to be balanced. It's going to reduce your sugar cravings, so you're not spiking those sugars. And when you start to do that, you start to eat less sugar, your blood sugar levels start to balance out. Guess what happens? Your body naturally burns the fat that's been previously stored from an overabundance of sugars. So before you got on Plexus, right? It's going to start to burn that excess fat, and you're going to lose weight naturally just by getting your body back in balance. So inflammation, regulating your glucose in your cells, 2 of the biggies that go in both of our Slims. Now, the Slim Hunger Control also has a polydextrose in it. It's a plant-based polydextrose. Everything's plant-based with us. And that is going to make you feel full faster and curb your appetite. So that's why a lot of people love starting out with the hunger control. The other Slim product that we have does not have the curbing of the appetite, but it does increase 5 key gut bacteria that impact mental well-being, super important, especially right now. Autoimmune disease, also super important because it's everywhere. Metabolism, akromansia, it's going to increase your akromansia, which is going to impact obesity, and your immune function. It's going to improve your immune function. So the other Slim, super rock star product. It's actually a prebiotic that basically, it's like putting fertilizer on all of your gut bacteria and they flourish. Okay, that's what's happening, and it has positive impacts on those 5 key areas. This is clinically proven, you guys. Okay, so it's really 2 very, very important products. So now we've taken care of regulation of blood sugars, which is going to impact your hormones and burn excess sugar or excess fat and give you better energy. We've taken care of the inflammation, right? Those 2 things are biggies. Next comes that yeast overgrowth, right? So we brought into the mix ProBio 5. This is the best probiotic you're ever going to find. Hands down, we have doctors that use the ProBio 5 and actually write prescriptions for the Triplex because it is so effective. The ProBio 5 is super unique because it's only actually half probiotic. Half of it is the probiotic that feeds the good gut bacteria. The other half is enzymes that kill off the yeast overgrowth. This is so insanely important. Mind you, when you get on this product, recognize that it takes time. It will take you time to get rid of that. It's not an overnight miracle pill. I wish it could be, but it can't. The third product, super important as well, is BioCleanse. This is going to give you a magnesium flush of your GI system, clean that up, get rid of the toxins that are in there. As you're killing them off, it'll flush it out even faster. It'll oxygenate your cells and pH balance your body. So fun little fact, if you probably didn't process this while I was talking, is if you're having a disease, let me talk to you a second for how terrible this can be if you are on medication. You're on medication for a disease, you're actually growing fungus overgrowth, right? Which is further degrading your systems. You will likely move into having some other health issue, whether it show up in your skin, acid reflux, another autoimmune disease, your GI tract, something will likely be triggered over time. You go back to the doctor, they give you another medication, right? Antidepressant, anti-anxiety, and you start taking that for the next health issue. But that next medication is going to increase your feeding of the yeast overgrowth, which is going to have further degradation on your system, which will usually lead to another health issue. And it goes on and on and on. And what's going on with your weight problems? They're only getting worse. This is why people struggle so badly. There's not an understanding of the underlying root causes to this that are actually being tackled. It's more or less, what's the Band-Aid diet? What's the Band-Aid medication that I hope and pray will make me feel better and potentially lose a few pounds so I look better. But the truth of the matter is, until you get your blood sugars regulated, get rid of the yeast, reduce that inflammation, you are running an uphill battle. You might as well be climbing a mountain with a boulder in front of you, because if yeast is making you crave sugars, and then we're trying to level out your sugar, your blood sugars, or you're trying to eat better. That's probably a better way to say it. So yeast is making you crave sugar, but you're on a diet where you're supposed to be limiting, but you're standing there like anxiously, I need sugar. Those two things are working against each other. If you're trying to eat really, really, really healthy, but your whole body is inflamed because of yeast overgrowth and your GI system is not pushing out food the way it's supposed to, you're an uphill battle. This is why these things are so insanely important, and why, as a company, we see incredible changes, complete whole body transformations. Many people coming completely off of their medications, because your body's a beautiful thing. And when you help it to function properly, it will work from the inside to renew itself. And that's awesome. Thanks for listening, you guys.